Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. The top story at this hour. Amidst a state-wide COVID lockdown, thousands of farmers have set off from Karnal, in Haryana to Delhi, where they plan to observe May 26th as a Black Day, marking 6 months of their protest against 3 central farm laws. Farmer unions have said that thousands of farmers from Karnal have already reached the Singhu border. They have threatened to gherav the commissioner in Hisar tomorrow to demand the registration of police cases against the Haryana chief minister and police officers who allegedly attacked farmers. Security has been beefed up in Haryana's Hisar district, as the farmers are also planning to picket the residence of senior police officers tomorrow to protest criminal cases filed against more than 300 farmers who have been on protest against the centre's new farm laws since November.
3 दिन से हम जो है ना बातचीत के लिए इनवाइट कर रहे हैं नेताओं को, और अब भी जो है वो न्योता खुला हुआ है, तो वो एक्सेप्ट करें और बातचीत के लिए टेबल के ऊपर आएँ। हर बात का समाधान बातचीत के जरिए से निकल सकता है और सही तरीके से, शांतिपूर्वक तरीके से सारे प्रोग्राम को निपटाएंगे। हमारी डिप्लॉयमेंट है ना वो सुविधा।
यदि बहुत बड़ी जनसंख्या में इकट्ठे होते हैं तो लॉकडाउन की भी वायलेशन होती है, और इसके साथ साथ ही जो कोविड बीमारी, कोरोना इतना ज़्यादा फैल रहा है हिसार में और इतनी ज़्यादा डेथ्स हो रही हैं, वो और भी ज़्यादा फैलेगा और इससे आम जन को बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान होगा। जो पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट है किसानों का, उसको हम एक्सेप्ट करते हैं। जो लोकतांत्रिक तरीके से वो अपनी बात रखना चाहते हैं उसको हम एक्सेप्ट करते हैं, परंतु प्रशासन बार बार समय समय पर उन्हें बातचीत करने के लिए बुला रहा है, और मैं अनुरोध करना चाहूँगी आपके माध्यम से कि वो आएँ। जो भी मुद्दे हैं हम उन्हें बातचीत से हल कर सकते हैं।
All right, let's go across to NDTV's Ghazali for more on this. So, Ghazali, while Haryana is taking action by getting riot officers on the ground in preparedness for tomorrow, Punjab, meanwhile, is taking a different route. The Chief Minister is trying to urge the farmers to cancel their agitation. How's that going?
Yeah, certainly. Both states responding differently, and both having seen a surge in COVID cases in the last month and even till last week of this month. And since this week, as cases are coming down, we are seeing how both the states have responded to how farmers will be agitating. Now, some farmers from Punjab and Haryana have gone towards Singhu border. So that was not stopped anywhere between the two states, though both the states have put COVID restrictions. Now, tomorrow in Haryana, there may be a big showdown because farmers have been protesting that why a criminal case has been registered against them when they were lathi charged and had to face tear gas shells on 16th May during CM's visit. So for that issue, since that has remained unresolved, farmers were demanding that the cases should have been cancelled. That was not done. Police said that it was a brutal attack on the police on that very day. So that is why tomorrow farmers from many districts of Haryana will be assembling in Hisar district to protest against the registration of cases. And police and the district administration seems to be well prepared, though they sent out a message for talks to the farmers as the administration was claiming. But farmers said they have not received any invitation for talks. So tomorrow, every eye will be on the Hisar district because farmers are adamant that they will reach Hisar and block gherav the residence of the commissioner's office in the district.
All right. So this story developing on many fronts on the ground. Farmers are heading towards Delhi. It's also developing politically. Let's go across to Sunil Prabhu for more on this. Sunil, and now opposition parties are extending support to the Farmers Union call to observe this countrywide protest. Is this unanimous? Is this across the board? Is this all opposition parties? Because this is a difficult situation given the fact that we are in the midst of a second wave, and opposition parties have been attacking this government for not being able to control the rise in the number of cases across India.
That's right, but they have also shown solidarity and said that they will support this strike call that they have a demand call for on the 26th, barring of course the Bahujan Samaj Party, Aam Aadmi Party, who are not signatories to that joint communique. But definitely we know that, for example, the Aam Aadmi Party will be supporting, but because of various reasons, they aren't part of the same memorandum in terms of supporting the farmers' organizations' protests. So definitely a big fill-up. They've asked once again and reiterated requested the Narendra Modi government to continue and dialogue with the farmers, especially during this time, as you rightly said, the second wave, when there is a pandemic, there are people, the farmers who are critical for India's food subsidy as well as food growth and food production. And it's in that context where we've seen even the government increase the subsidy by 140% in terms of fertilizers after the private fertilizer companies had increased it by double the amount. It's in that context that the government of India should speak with the farmers. That is what the opposition parties are requesting and pleading and hoping that the Swaminathan Committee report will be implemented.
All right. Thanks, Sunil. A developing story, fast developing story there, where also I can add on to what Sunil was saying. There's an update now. The Aam Aadmi Party has put out a statement saying that they do extend support to the call given by the farmers to observe this nationwide protest on the 26th. And they urge the centre to immediately resume talks with farmers and accede to their demands, up saying that they firmly stand with the farmers. All right, the other big story, big story of the day, the Union Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, has now asked the yoga guru, the self-acclaimed yoga guru, Ramdev, the face of one of India's biggest consumer goods and alternative medicine empires, to rescind his remarks in which he ostensibly said that more people die of modern medical treatments during the COVID-19 crisis than the coronavirus itself. Now, remember, there's been a lot of pressure on the government to take some action against Mr. Ramdev. The IMA had come together this weekend, put out a statement demanding that action be taken against this Mr. Ramdev because of his statements. And now finally, over 48 hours after this, the health minister has spoken up, saying that the people of the country are very hurt with your remark on allopathic medicines. I have already told you about this over the phone. Doctors and health workers are like gods for the people of India, for whom they are fighting against the coronavirus, risking their lives, Dr. Harshvardhan has said in a 2-page letter written in Hindi. He goes on to say, you have not only insulted corona warriors, but have hurt the feelings of the people of the country. Your clarification yesterday is not enough to make up for it. I hope you will think hard on it and withdraw your statements completely, the health minister says in this letter. This, of course, comes at a time when strict action has been taken against many who have criticized the government, and the government has taken action against them, saying they were spreading misinformation in this time of a pandemic. The Epidemic Act has also been filed against many people. There were posters that were put out last weekend across Delhi, and many over a dozen persons had been arrested, and the government said that was because they were spreading misinformation. So critics here pointing out that Mr. Ramdev is also guilty on that same count. And the other big story of the day, the CBSE board exams for the year 2021 are going to take place. However, it is it's unclear what the format will be and when those exams are going to be held. We do know so far that the government is keen on holding these CBSE exams. The format is still being decided. States have been left to take their own decisions based on the local situation. There was a high-level meeting conducted today, chaired by the Defence Minister and the Education Minister, and all stakeholders were involved in this meeting. There were the states and union territories, Education Ministers, secretaries and chairpersons of state examination boards, to discuss these pending board, Class 12 board exams and entrance examinations for professional courses. Now, the CBSE proposed in this meeting that it will conduct the Class 12 board exams only for major subjects. Delhi and Maharashtra made clear their reservations about holding these exams in the midst of a second wave of the coronavirus.
सुरक्षा पहले और उसके बाद आपका भविष्य, इन दोनों को देख करके हम फिर 1 जून को आगे का आपको अवगत कराएंगे जो भी परिस्थितियाँ होंगी। हमने ये भी कहा था कि जब भी हम इस बात की घोषणा करेंगे तो कम से कम 15 दिन हम आपको देंगे, ताकि आपके मन में अचानक न हो कि कब तिथियों की घोषणा हो और कब फिर जो है आप संभलें।
And the US pharmaceutical firm Moderna has refused to send supplies of its COVID vaccine directly to Punjab, saying that according to its official policy, the company will deal only with the government of India. The Amrinder Singh administration had reached out to all manufacturers looking for direct purchases. The state government has said, remember, on the 19th of April, as the government announced a series of major changes to the national vaccination policy, the centre declared that states can buy coronavirus vaccines directly from manufacturers. And critics have pointed out that that is simply unfeasible and that it is the job and should be the job of the centre to procure vaccines for the entire country and not the responsibility or the job of the states to do so. Remember, Punjab has been forced to stop the vaccinations for phase 1 and phase 2 categories over this week because of a non-availability of doses. The state says it has only been able to buy 4.2 lakh vaccine doses under the centre's phase 3 allocation, that is for the age group of 18 to 44. So only 4.2 lakh vaccines for the entire state of Punjab. Something to think about right there. All right, let's go in for a short break. More news from around the country coming up after that.
Good evening, you're watching The Good Stuff with me, Sonakshi Chakravarti, on NDTV 24/7. This time last year is when we introduced something called as The Good Stuff as a segment to bring you primarily all the stories all the good that was emerging out of this pandemic. Stories that would leave you smiling, stories that would leave you with some hope and some faith, stories of humanitarian efforts most importantly. With exactly this intention, we reintroduce this back on the channel to tell you that we need the good stuff more than ever this time amid this difficult time. Let's kickstart this good stuff with a story of a celebrity chef, Saransh Goila, the founder of the famous Goila's Butter Chicken, and somebody who has gone that extra mile to help people affected due to COVID by curating all that information one needs if one is COVID-19 positive and needs home-cooked food, freshly prepared meals by somebody from someone's house. Chef Saransh Goila is the man to the rescue who's put that spreadsheet all together. Good evening, Chef. Thank you for speaking to us. And let me begin by asking you, how are you and how's everybody around you amongst these difficult times?
Good evening, Sonakshi, and thank you first of all for having me over. I must say that we are all safe and keeping well, but of course, with immediate friends and family, there have been losses because of COVID. It has been a time of distress, considering that my entire family is based out of Delhi and friend circle is also based out of Delhi. It's been a lot of turmoil while I'm in Mumbai, and I think the cases are rapidly decreasing, and that's a good sign. But yeah, quite a devastating situation, and we are trying to do our best to help our community out.
Right. Just on that thought, Chef, to try and help people out, I think we are seeing the best of humanity in the worst of our times right now as India battles one of its worst ever seen health emergency. A quick question for our viewers who don't know, Chef, if you can go ahead and tell us, what is COVID Meals for India? It's a website that is curated specially for those who are hit by COVID-19, but at the same time need help with food, which is the most important and the most basic thing for survival. How did you come up with this idea? It wasn't too long ago, just about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So actually, COVID, this current wave in COVID in India has created a unique problem, which means because people are falling ill in clusters, and there are many people who are falling sick, which meant that it created a unique problem where people who were isolating at home did not have home cooked food services, because their own friends and family couldn't have come to their rescue. You know, generally when you fall sick, your neighbor or your friend or your family will offer you food. But in this scenario, you're ill for a longer span of time, which means 2 to 3 weeks, you're isolated in your home, and you need people around you also to be okay. And hence, I started getting a lot of messages and tweets on Instagram and on Twitter that we are not being able to, find home cooked meals. Can you suggest somebody who can help us out in this situation? and that prompted me to start a Google spreadsheet, which has now become a website. It's covidmealsforindia.com, or you can WhatsApp us directly on 888-289-1316 as well. We've partnered with WhatsApp directly to make an automatic chatbot where you can WhatsApp us on this number, say a hi, and you'll be able to find food in your PIN code. What the website essentially does is it connects a COVID patient with a volunteer or a home chef directly, which means that you could be in any part of the country. Currently, we have 400 cities listed on the website. We have more than 4,000 volunteers / home chefs who are willing to help and provide these meals. Some of them are meals for charity, which means people are, you were saying something, Sonakshi.
Right. Absolutely. So the idea of this entire website was to ensure that people just maybe 2 clicks away or 3 clicks away can get freshly cooked, home cooked meals when they are surviving and recovering that deadly virus. And I also know so many people who want that, because a lot of people live alone and they don't have any help. I want to ask you, as somebody who represents Young India yourself, how important do you think it is for Young India to come out, take that step forward and help people? A lot of people at this time would want to be wary of it and stay home, which is advisable, but at the same time are also taking risks by helping others out. How important do you think is people who have a voice, someone like yourself?
All right, and unfortunately we are cutting out of that, because the breaking news at this hour is that India has crossed that grim mark of 300,000 COVID deaths. So that's 3 lakh COVID deaths that India has now faced due to the spread of the coronavirus. Let's go across to Sukirti for more on this. Sukirti, it had been building up to this, but where does this put India globally when it comes to the nations that have lost their largest citizens to the coronavirus?
Well, Sarah, this is definitely a grim milestone for India, considering we've crossed the 3 lakh mark, and India has been recording a very high number of daily deaths for the last several days. Our number of daily deaths have been over 3,000. Until a few days ago, they were even 4,000, more than 4,000. But now, for the last few days, they have been above 3,000, despite the fact that our cases have been declining. Now, many people are saying that the effect of declining cases will start showing on the deaths only in the next few days. The deaths that we are seeing right now are people who were admitted in hospitals 10-15 days ago, when India was going through a much worse phase of the COVID crisis. And today, with over 700 deaths being recorded in Karnataka and 600 cases being recorded in Maharashtra, that has led to such a high number of deaths. And we've crossed the mark of even 3 lakh deaths. At this point of time, one is just hoping, and that's what experts have been saying, that the cases have started declining. So hopefully in the next few days, we will see better numbers when it comes to daily deaths.
All right, so the breaking news at this hour, India's COVID-19 death toll crossing the 3 lakh mark, even as the positivity rate has declined to 14.2% as announced by the Health Ministry yesterday. So stay tuned to NDTV. We'll continue to bring you the latest on this and other stories. For now, bye-bye.